Super Mario Bros. Is about to turn 40, and today we're gonna learn about each of the 6 main speedrun categories of Super Mario Bros. Let's start with Warpless. Across the entire game, there are 32 levels across 8 worlds, from level 1-1 to level 8-4. In this category, players must complete all 32 levels as fast as possible, with a Bowser fight appearing at the end of all 8 worlds. The fastest way to defeat Bowser is to grab the Fire Flower in 1-4 and hit Bowser with up to 5 fireballs, which saves 2 seconds compared to grabbing the axe first and watching Bowser fall off the bridge, so around 14 seconds across a full run. The current world record also uses a backwards block clip in 4-4, saving up to 0.7 seconds. The earliest Warpless run with video evidence was at 21:18, completed by Andrew Garticus, better known by his username Andrew G. This run was completed 20 years ago in August 2005, and Andrew G would go on to get the first sub 20-minute time in February 2007. Since Andrew G, many runners such as IOL, Darbian, and Jeremy MKW have traded the record, but the record now belongs to American runner Niftsky at a time of 1854.864.
Yes! 1854! Let's go! Woo!
I also got the chance to speak with Nifsky about his record time, and here's what he had to say.
That run is also really special because it marks the first run in Warpless where every single Bowser kill is like absolutely perfect, besides 8-4.
Nifsky also doesn't take any damage and takes no deaths across the whole run, so the only way to improve his time now is to use one of the most well-known tricks in the game. This is the flagpole glitch. Also known as FPG, the flagpole glitch uses a precise series of inputs to clip inside this block. This can save 0.35 seconds if done correctly, and the current world record only uses 2 of them, in 1-1 and 2-1. There's also a newer trick known as a full FPG, or FFPG for short. This is nearly the same as FPG, except it usually involves clipping into the floor and skips the animation of Mario walking to the castle. While the world record uses flagpole glitch twice, you can theoretically get a run with 16 FPGs and 8 FFPGs to save up to an additional 15 seconds. This is just insane considering each of these tricks are very easy to miss.
Kind of is like the start of a new era to where you can't improve the castle levels. Literally, it's just like improving it based on like how many FPGs you have in a run, or like full FPGs even, which is maybe going to be introduced soon, wink.
But now we have to talk about something important, something called the frame rule. Frame rules are basically just 21 frame intervals, around 0.35 seconds each. Remember how I said flagpole glitch can save 0.35 seconds? Well, this is the reason why. Whenever Mario completes a level, the game checks for completion every 0.35 seconds, before showing you the screen for the next level. Look at 8-1 for example, where you can perform an FPG to save 15 frames. However, being 15 frames faster isn't always enough to catch the faster frame rule, since you still have to wait for the game to check your progress, and this loses 0.35 seconds from the best possible time. However, if you do a quick backwards jump at the start of 8-1, you can save just enough frames to save the extra frame rule, or 0.35 seconds. Players can only save or lose time in terms of frame rules across every level in the game, with the only exception being 8-4, since the timer ends when Mario grabs the axe. Before starting a Warpless run, Nifsky uses a massive delay between when the game boots up and when he presses start. This ensures he gets the same frame rules every time to stay consistent and get familiar with enemy spawn patterns in that same frame rule. Different frame rules have different enemy spawn points. Since there are many FPGs and FFPGs left to add in the run, Nifsky is currently streaming attempts to get the world's first 1849.
Always with Warpless, it's been 1 second improvement at a time, or not even that. Like some world records are like a frame rule improvement, so it's like 0.3 seconds. But I'm going for a 5-second jump. The route would include 2 full FPGs, which has never been done in a Warpless run, not even 1, unless you count BBG as a full FPG, because technically is 6 FPGs, and then all Tastai Bowser kills, and that'll save 5 seconds over the current world record. So it's going to be a huge record if I get this.
We didn't have to wait that long though. I'm recording this voiceover on August 7th, 2025. It's been 17 days since I got to speak with Nifsky and 7 days since he started going for 1849. I was making finishing touches to this video today and I noticed Nifsky had a run going with both 1-1 and 1-2 FPG, but little did I expect how far this run was really going to go.
FFO save. Oh my god! Bowser, please.
Yes! 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 Oh my god! Oh my god! I got it! Oh my god! Oh my god! That's my hardest world record ever! This is not real, bro!
And on his first ever run with 1849 pace into 8-4, he got the wall jump, he got the right Bowser pattern, and he got the 1849.972. This is the current record, and Nifsky's dream of a 5-second jump has finally come true. This might be the record for years to come. So now we've gone over how fast you can finish all 32 levels, but how many levels do we need to beat to defeat Bowser? Here's a hint. It's not 32. Introducing any percent. The goal of any percent is to finish the game as fast as possible, without holding the left and right buttons on the D-pad at the same time, since that's considered cheating. There are a total of 32 levels in Super Mario Bros., but to complete the game, you only need to complete 8 of them. These levels are 1-1, 1-2, 4-1, 4-2, and all of World 8. So this route skips 75% of the game. The very first recorded any percent speedrun appeared on the Japanese forum website High Level Challenge in April 1999, with a 9-minute and 51-second time by Japanese runner Kashion. This was officially the first time the game had been completed in under 10 minutes. But even so, the run wastes a lot of time for seemingly no reason. Kashion jumps around in areas you don't even need to go in any percent, and it's almost as if he's having fun in a video game? No, that's not possible. In the coming months, Kashion was quickly surpassed by other Japanese competitors, and in August 1999, the record shrunk all the way down to a 5:17 by YY. This run was far ahead of its time, and competitors over in the US took 3 years before they could even get close to this level. But speaking of next level, could the game be completed in under 5 minutes? To find out, let's look at some more runs by our good friend Andrew G. And finally, on Christmas Eve 2010, Andrew G completed an any percent run at 459.690, but he still wasn't done. A year later, he got the record again, and in 2013, he got the record again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. And since then, the record has changed hands between Darbian, Cosmic, Sumwest, Tavenweb 2002, and Miniland, but in January 2025, the current record of 454.565 was achieved. And this world record yet again belongs to Nifsky.
8H.
Oh my god! Yes! Yes! It's over! It's over! It's finally over!
This run is one of the most optimized runs in not only this game, but in any game out there. To clarify, let's talk about tool-assisted speedruns, or TASes for short. These are runs that are programmed by TASers to prove what a theoretically perfect speedrun could look like. While they're not allowed on the leaderboards, they're still valid in their own way. The current task record for any percent is a 454.265, so that means Nifsky's record is only 0.3 seconds away from perfect. I did say earlier that you can only save or lose time in frame rules, but here's the thing. Nifsky doesn't miss any. In 1-1, he gets the perfect frame roll with FPG. In 1-2, he does a frame perfect pipe clip here with a 1-frame jump, scrolls the screen to the right to activate the warp pipes, and heads into World 4. This trick is known as 1-2G or 1-2G and is named after, you guessed it, Andrew G. Now we head into 4-1, which is normally the easiest level in the whole run, but not for Nifsky. This is the second level in the run that requires an FPG, allowing him to complete the level on the same frame rule as the task. 4-2 is a complicated one though. Looking back at Andrew G's 505, he completes this level by hitting this secret vine block and uses it to climb up into the warp zone. However, this method is not currently used. And why, you may ask? Well, Andrew G put it best.
It's too slow!
There's actually an even faster way to enter World 8 without having to use this vine block at all. This is the 4-2 wrong warp. Andrew realized that after pushing Mario 20 or more pixels to the right, you can actually enter the warp zone by going down this pipe, skipping the vine animation completely and saving at least 3 seconds. But hey Andrew, is this wrong warp good enough to save the task frame rule?
It's too slow!
Yeah, it's still too slow, but don't lose hope yet, because in May 2021, a reliable setup was found by King of Johnny Boy, allowing players to reliably save the last frame rule. This strategy is known as Lightning 4-2. With all these tricks in mind, humans are now tied with the task going into World 8. Now on to 8-1, where the level starts with this quick backwards jump, more commonly known as a fast accel. This accelerates Mario faster than sprinting, and combined with an FPG at the end of the level, this is enough to tie the task. In 8-2, you just run and jump forward through some Koopas and over some pipes, before stopping at this block. Thanks to our frame roll delay from earlier, Nifsky is now on the right frame roll to spawn this bullet bill. After waiting for this bullet bill to reach a certain position, Nifsky does this.
That's it.
Now we're talking about bullet bill glitch. Discovered in 2014, this is the only full FPG in any percent. This trick is not only difficult, but also comes with a 50% success rate that runners like to call coin toss. So even if you perform this trick correctly, this trick will still only work half of the time thanks to coin toss. But Nifsky manages to stick the landing and heads into the second last level, 8-3. This level mainly depends on memorizing where the Hammer Bros will spawn, so depending on the frame rule, they'll spawn in a different place. But what's even more difficult is the fact that the last FPG in the run is in this level, which is mainly possible thanks to a perfect slowdown on this pipe. To recap this insane run so far, the optimal any percent run uses 4 FPGs, 1 FFPG aka bullet bill glitch, a frame perfect pipe clip in 1-2, and a lightning fast 4-2, all in one continuous run. Now let me reiterate. Nifsky's world record got all of these tricks, and was tied with tasks going into the last level, 8-4. This level has never been done perfectly in a run before, and to get a perfect 8-4, you're gonna need tons of fast accels. In room 1, there are 2 back-to-back fast accels right at the beginning, before simply running and jumping forwards until you go down this pipe. Room 2 also starts with a fast accel before performing a backwards wall jump onto this pipe. To get this wall jump, Mario hits the surface of this pipe and remains in a standing position for exactly 1 frame. So you only have 1/60th of a second to press A and land the trick. Room 3 is a fitting name, since playing at task level requires 3 fast accels in the span of 3 seconds. 1 out of the pipe, 1 instantly after, and 1 more on this turnaround before entering the water section. The water section is normally contained in this pipe, but thanks to the turnaround, you can scroll the screen just far enough to trick the game into moving the water section over here, allowing you to use this pipe instead and save nearly a second. Now we just need to swim through some fire bars and bloopers while avoiding the floors and walls to prevent losing time. Now we enter the final room, with 1 last fast accel required before dashing towards Bowser and grabbing the axe to finish off the perfect 8-4. And yes, you can lose time on the final axe grab if you jump too far to the right. Overall, the perfect 8-4 takes 44.227 seconds. And this has only been done by 2 people. First by Brazilian runner Lakuki, and the following month by Nifsky himself. In comparison, Nifsky's any percent world record gets a 44.527. So the only improvement left in any percent is to get a perfect 8-4 on top of the previous 7 levels being played perfectly as well. So it's gonna be a while before this happens. If you want to speedrun this game without worrying about these tricks and glitches, there's a category just for you. Our next category is Glitchless. Introduced to the main leaderboards in May 2023, this run is basically just any percent on easy mode. No more FPGs and BBGs, no more wall jump in 8-4, no wrong warps in 4-2 and 8-4, and no more 1-2G. So you'll have to access the warp zones and water section completely normally. Unfortunately, this means that the world record cannot currently break the 5-minute barrier, since using no glitches sacrifices quite a few frame rules. The glitchless record has previously belonged to Andrew G, GT Ace, and JS Carbo before reaching the current world record of 502.685, achieved in January 2024 by, you guessed it, Nifsky. Although this category seems a bit slow, the next one is much quicker. It's time for Minus World Ending. We know that this game has 8 worlds, but what if we could trick the game into taking us to a bonus world? That's what this category is all about. This run starts off the same as any percent, complete 1-1, play through 1-2, but at the end of 1-2 is where it gets interesting. In any percent, you perform 1-2G near the end of the level using a precise jump to clip through this pipe Andrew G style. And normally from here, we would scroll the screen far enough to activate the pipe. But watch what happens if we don't activate the pipe. This is world -1. To put it simply, entering this pipe too fast confuses the game's code and sends you to an underwater level identical to 7-2 instead of sending you to 4-1. And one more thing, this level doesn't end. Entering the pipe at the end just puts you back at the beginning and locks you in an infinite loop. However, this is not the real Minus World Ending category and is simply known as Minus World or Minus World US by speedrunners. The timer ends once Mario enters this pipe for the first time, but get ready for this next bit because the world record for this run is a 1 minute 35.559, but here's the twist. This record is a tie, not between 2 people and not between 3, but a tie between 22 different people, including Nifsky, of course. And the reason behind this 22-way tie? The run is perfect.
That category I don't think can be improved at all. I'd say it's perfect for sure.
However, the real Minus World Ending is much more impressive. It's time to switch to the Japanese Famicom version. The Japanese equivalent to the NES is the Famicom Disk System, which uses both cartridges and floppy disks. Thanks to using floppy disks, the game's code is stored much differently, and as a result, entering the warp pipe early confuses the game in a different way. Now this -1 is way cooler, an underwater version of 5-3 with Flying Bowser, Princess Peach for some reason, and a Hammer Bro as well. The record completes -1 with a full FPG to tie the task frame roll going into -2. Here you can perform another full FPG by stomping on this flying Cheep Cheep, clipping through the floor, and then clipping into this block. Absolutely insane. And now we enter the final level. World -3. It's basically just 4-4, but with bloopers instead of fire bars and no Bowser at the end. Probably since he was going swimming in World -1, but who knows. Here we don't use the 4-4 clip because we're not playing as Super Mario, but as Small Mario, there is a frame perfect clip near the end of the level over here. And the timer stops once you grab the axe right after that, and that's the end of Minus World Ending. The record for this category is currently a 230.219, completed in May 2023 by Nifsky. This run only loses 7 frames to the perfect task, and getting a 229 is currently impossible. Currently, of course. The Minus World glitch is a trick that dates back to the 1980s, and if you want to try it out for yourself, there is an easier method than 1-2G. Just grab a mushroom and perform a crouching backwards jump into this part of the wall and dive right into the pipe. Why not give it a try? And now let's move on to the categories on the Super Nintendo version. First, here's any percent All-Stars. Super Mario All-Stars was released in 1993 for the Super Nintendo and includes an updated version of Super Mario Bros. Is it any easier? Not at all. 1-1 still has FPG, and 1-2 still has 1-2G, only this time the minus world glitch is actually patched, so you no longer have to scroll the screen in order to go into 4-1. 4-1 is now more difficult since we now require pipe jumps to get high enough to pass the piranha plants. There are 2 pipe jumps to perform here, and each of them have a 1 to 2 frame window, so they're very close to frame perfect. Also, in the Japanese version of All-Stars, you can now grab the flagpole from the right side and save time. In this version, you can hit item blocks to spawn objects near the left side of the screen. This allows Mario to grab the right side of the flagpole for complicated reasons. You can also do this right side pole grab and get an FPG at the same time. This makes the Japanese version of All-Stars the fastest and is what the world record uses. Next up is 4-2, already one of the most difficult levels in the original, but it's even more difficult here. And it's all thanks to piranha plants, for 2 main reasons. For one, their hitboxes are way larger. In the original version, touching this green square means Mario will take damage. However, in this new version, the hitbox is much larger and much less forgiving. Reason 2 is even worse. The piranha plants don't despawn. The original NES version can only spawn 5 sprites at a time. So if you spawn the vine in 4-2 for example, you can make sure that this piranha plant disappears and you can perform the wrong warp. However, the Super Nintendo's hardware is super enough to make sure that the piranha plant doesn't disappear. These 2 setbacks didn't stop speedrunners from finding a way through. Now the 4-2 wrong warp has gone from this to this. Using this slightly slower pipe clip here means not only will the wrong warp work, but also that the piranha plant will go back into the pipe thanks to the slight delay. And this allows you to enter the warp zone optimally. In 8-1, you would normally do 3 pipe jumps over piranha plants, but not only are these jumps frame perfect due to the larger hitboxes, but now there are 5 of them. Pair that with the game's ability to store more enemy sprites, and the level is more of a challenge. 8-2 is mostly the same as before, except doing BBG now will soft lock the game and leave Mario stuck against this block forever. In 8-3, you now spawn this mushroom, slow down right after to prevent getting fireworks that slow you down, and finish the level off with a right side pole grab. Now time for the last level. Since piranha plants don't despawn, you'll have to wait a bit longer to enter the pipes in the first 2 rooms. Sort of like we did in Glitchless. The water section is also more difficult since the enemies move a lot closer to you. Also, the Podoboo in the last room flies super high, offering players some mercy in what has been a very challenging run. And that's it for any % All-Stars. The ending in this version is also kinda silly. The any % All-Stars record has been in the hands of Rodrigo7, Nalmi, and EddieCat Gaming, but now it belongs to Nifsky yet again, with a time of 4:55.780 achieved in May 2023.
Yes! Yes! Let's go!
While this run is over a second slower than the original any % record, the task for All-Stars is actually faster than the original. This world record seems to have much more room to improve than the original any % one.
It would be cool, like, sometime in the future, just knowing that All-Stars record's faster than the actual any % world record, especially if it's like 453. Everyone always jokes about like, oh, 453, is it possible? Is it possible? We know it is actually possible in that version of the game, and to get it would kind of just be like, you know, bragging rights, if anything, but it would also just be like a super optimized run, like a super cool barrier to break as well.
But only time will tell when the next record will happen. Finally, let's look at Warpless All-Stars. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you. Make sure to subscribe as we've just hit 2,000 subscribers and we're just getting started. You can also request topics for future videos in the comments below. Now on to Warpless All-Stars. This run is nearly identical to the original Warpless. You complete all 32 levels and perform the block clip in 4-4, but there are also differences. There are more enemies to deal with, the right side pole grab comes into play, and ultimately, the record comes in just under a minute slower than the original Warpless record at a 1942. This run uses 1-1 FPG as well as a right side pole grab FPG in 2-3. But of course, there's still room for improvement, and Nifsky wants to get a 19.3x someday.
I want to push it to 19.3x, so it'd be a 3-second time save. Okay, that's the time I can like retire on 19.3x.
And that's it for the video. Thanks for watching everyone, be sure to stay tuned and keep on moving onwards and upwards.